Intern 4 with Jim Shelton. Hi there. This is a show that will be um, IndyCar related. Tonight we're going to talk about St. Petersburg and the tire situation there. I got some information from one of the shows that is on from a reliable source, one of the participants, the Daily Show, uh, that the reason for the tire falling off so quickly. Actually, this was Rossi that said this. Um, the reason for the tire fall off was they used last year's tire, which was before the hybrid. So that was before the 100 pounds they added. When they added the 100 pounds, of course, that makes the tire wear more. Anytime you get weight, you add weight to a car. It will cause the tire to wear faster. The issue with that is that that's a tire that was supposed to last 17, 18 laps um, lasted in some cases one. Sometimes it lasted 10, but it was not what they intended, and they didn't test on that course because of it being a road course. Um, Not a good situation. Goodyear probably knew that that would be a problem, and IndyCar insisted upon it, from what we're told. Fox wanted a bigger difference between the tires, uh, and I'm sure that everybody was thinking it well, but they didn't think it out very well, and that happens to be a problem with IndyCar planning. Is a real problem with them. Um, Next subject was IndyCar scoring. Uh, they did not coordinate very well with Fox, and so Fox's graphics packages failed. They didn't have key elements like what tire compound was on the cars. They didn't have some things with intervals that we've seen in the past on NBC. And most of that was because IndyCar made a change in their IT, and it wasn't coordinated well with Fox to see whether it would work. And this is kind of another planning issue. They have a test at Sebring every year, or most of the teams are there. You bring something like that and you do a full race um, weekend type of a run through, and those problems don't happen on air. Why didn't they have television at Sebring? Um, they have in the past. This year they didn't, and that's typical IndyCar. They don't plan. They don't do run throughs. And this doesn't make any sense because the only cost would have been the IndyCar, and the cost would have made the TV product better, which usually translates into ratings, which translates to more revenue. It would have been an investment. Um, Next subject I came up with for this week was IndyCar rumor of a team sale. Uh, I would say that that's Huko's Hollinger, if I were guessing. Maybe Coyne, but Coyne seems to be in better shape. The rule last year where they uh, gave with the charters, the only way you can get a charter is if you limit your to 3 drivers per car. And these small teams, If they get a guy that buys a ride for a couple road courses, can make him go a couple more races. And uh, I don't know. That was a great idea. What they probably should have done was, which is, I don't understand why they haven't done this. Give a guarantee for the top 25. You're going to make this much money for the weekend. And then have a pot, a race purse, like they used to do. And, one through whatever, that shows up. If you want to limit the cars to, 28, okay. But don't guarantee those spots. These teams don't have sponsors anyway. So why are you guaranteeing spots? Some of these teams don't even have a sponsor. Uh, it causes people not to be able to get into the sport. It's a barrier to entry, is what it is. It makes it a lot more expensive, and to get in, and for the series to stay strong. I've seen this happen in the past. CART tried to do the same thing exactly. Look where they're at. That's what got them in financial trouble. A couple teams left, Penske, Ganassi, and they were done. It was Katie bar the doors. They just didn't get enough new teams in. And so then they started running with smaller and smaller fields, got down to about 18, and they decided to call it quits. The Honda versus Chevy, there isn't any difference between the engines. It's absolutely boring. It doesn't produce headlines. And the amount of they worry a little bit too much about things like what somebody says in the press about Honda or Chevy. You know what? That should be going on. You should be getting that going. Get headlines. Why is Honda better than Chevy? Why is Chevy better than Honda? That'll attract other. If you get headlines, a lot of times people watch. Again, the TV audience, it drives the TV audience. It drives the fan base. Give the people something they can, they can see, and they just don't do that in IndyCar. They try to keep everything so sterile. It's a Penske way, and Roger Penske is the absolute worst person to run the series. Period. Of anybody out there, including Randy Bernard. He was not a very good technical guy. He wasn't a very good. He did some silly things with that Race of Champions. It was a good idea and concept. They just had too many cars on the track. And I don't know that they couldn't race at Las Vegas. I don't know if they can't race it in Pocono. If you can't, if you got a bunch of guys that don't want to race at a track, is it the track or is it the drivers? And in this case, at Pocono especially, there are a bunch of people that don't really like ovals, don't want to really run on ovals, and that's a problem. We should be getting rid of those drivers. They shouldn't be part of the series. Sorry, Scott Dixon, you shouldn't be. Sorry. He's my least favorite driver, if you haven't told. He is all the races that he's ever won are gas mileage, including the Indy 500. It was a boring race, 2008 when he won. Hope he never wins again. I hope he never runs it again. To be honest with you, it would be a better sport without him, and without people like him in the series. The next topic is ticket sales. Huh. I went to all I went to all the Iowa races that since COVID and during COVID. I was at the track and didn't go in because of the restricted policies. We decided to go sprint car race or modified racing in North Dakota instead. So, and it was a much better time than that weekend would have been because it was hotter than the Blue Blazes, and they wanted you to wear a mask all weekend in the outside area where it was so humid it was dripping. There's no way you get COVID there. Um, Here's another problem. Iowa promotion non-existent this year. They dropped the concerts because Hy-Vee got out. Although they had an announcement last fall that they'd re-up the contract. Now what happened there? Nobody's even saying. But they still haven't made tickets available because they haven't decided on the prices. The race is in mid-July, and as I do this, it's 4 months away from today, and we don't have ticket prices decided. What's going on? Why would you do that? It makes absolutely no sense. Um, we're a season ticket holder. We got the first dibs. Most tracks, even Nashville last year, was taking money if you want to renew your tickets the day of the race. I don't remember that happening in Iowa last year. I don't think it did. Penske Entertainment is awful at promotion. Not just bad, they're terrible. They're terrible at promoting the 500. The 500 promotes itself. They have every year since Mark Miles has been involved, the amount of promotion in the race has dropped actually. The race itself has promoted itself. The Indy GP was brought in because the Boston Consulting Group was brought in and said that was a great idea. Boston Consulting Group has absolutely no idea what they're talking about with racing. I doubt if any of them have ever been in a race. But the problem with not having any idea is that you make stupid decisions like changing tradition, which when you don't understand why the tradition's there and why we were doing it the way we were doing it. What it was is it was a buildup every day, and sponsors used to be in that first week they would get the sponsors. It used to be that there wasn't a fixed field. You could you could have entries and not use them. But for some reason, when Miles came along, they stopped doing that, and they need to go back to that. They need to get these little teams involved. They need to build them up. They need to have one-offs here and there. They should have a program for promoting new teams. And if I'm one of the current owners, I want this because those are people that are going to buy my franchise or my charter or whatever you want to call it. If I ever decide to get out, it's going to make it worth more. It's building it up. It's marketing it. And when you don't do that, guess what happens? It isn't worth anything. And that's what's going to happen with these. NASCAR's doing the same stupid thing. They're going to get to a point, and it's going to peak out, and it's going to start going down. And I think they've done that with this suit that they've done. We'll see. It was also announced that Sato is going to be driving a 75 at the Indy 500 in the fourth Rahal Letterman Lanigan car. Probably there'll be another entry for someone with another team. I would suspect it's probably Coyne. It could be Able Motorsport, maybe Able Motorsports. I would think with and they might be the one that does it with Coyne since Abel's already on the team, or the son is. And there's another entry for a 35th entry. There was a rumor about a fourth Ganassi car. I don't think that's going to happen. Just too many things is in the way. But look for that maybe that third team on Ganassi. He's a smart guy. He got out of NASCAR, and he might tail back he might take some profits, and sell off one of those charters. I wouldn't be surprised at all, especially if he gets the right amount of money. If Trackhouse does what they've been talking about doing, um, guess who bought his team in NASCAR? They had some money. They came in, they bought both franchises, and he was out. I doubt if he ever gets out, but he might sell one off, because he has that extra shop over, and it was built for two teams. What if he sold it off and the guy ran one charter and didn't run another, didn't have a charter on the other one? He's all. I mean, that would make sense for them to have a 14 for a couple years, or maybe 1 year. Uh, if that happens, it'll probably be either David Malukas, his dad, who has a bunch of indie NXT, which is the dumbest thing I ever dealt with. Indie NXT. What's NXT? What is NXT? How does that help your marketing? Indie Lights was something that had been on forever. It was a name that was recognized within the industry, and now you rename the series to Indie NXT, and it's just, and nobody ever thinks of it that way. But it's instead of around the sport, you always think of it as Indie Lights. For me, if you're going to change the name, you change it to something that at least spell check can recognize, and it can't recognize Indie NXT. Sorry. Well, I think that's about it for this week. Look forward to doing another one of these next week, and we'll see where we go with this.